The following programme tells the story of an event unique in the history of the Hertfordshire Constabulary and indeed of British policing. But perhaps it would help if we started at the logical place, the beginning. In 1991, the Hertfordshire Constabulary celebrated the 150th anniversary of its founding, and to mark the event there were various functions laid on. These culminated in an open day at police headquarters held under the banner of Emergency Services Day, and police officers from towns which had twinning links with places in Hertfordshire were invited to attend. We were pleased to be able to welcome colleagues from France, Holland and Germany, and for the first time 3 officers from Novgorod in Russia, which is twinned with Watford. At that time the former Soviet Union was in collapse, and Boris, Mikhail and Tamara arrived without even sufficient money to pay for their rail fare home. It was a time of high emotion, and when Boris said that he hoped we would be able to visit them when things had settled down, there were many who thought that such sentiments were little more than a pipe dream. However, contact was maintained with the Russian officers, and eventually the dream became a possibility. We were aware that there are various shortages in Russia, and when a trip was proposed, we naturally asked if there was anything we could take which would be of help to them. Well, it appeared that there were various things that would be of use, and clothes, medicine and Western technology were at the top of their list. So the next question was, how could we get such things out to Russia? We decided to approach Vauxhall Motors at Luton and ask if they would consider helping us with an overland trip to Novgorod, and, somewhat to our surprise, they agreed. In fact, they supplied us with 3 Vauxhall Frontierers and 3 minivans to enable us to make the trip, which was planned for September 1994. From the large number of officers who volunteered, 12 were eventually chosen to undertake the journey, together with Dave Chalkley, a civilian employee who works in the headquarters garage, and Paul Rickson, a retired officer who had procured various items of medical equipment, together with an ambulance which we proposed to donate to the hospital at Novgorod. There then followed almost a year of planning, which at times seems to cast a shadow of gloom over the whole trip. The customs formalities appeared formidable, and tales of mafia activity made us wonder whether we would ever get as far as the Russian border, let alone Novgorod. Then, when things seemed impossible, the solution presented itself. We would travel as police officers, in uniform, in marked police vehicles, and seek the assistance of police forces in the various countries we passed through. However, various hurdles still presented themselves, but as time passed, they did eventually get crossed, and after a ceremony at headquarters where Vauxhalls handed over the keys to the vehicles, the time for departure was suddenly upon us. We had originally arranged to travel to Europe by way of the Channel Tunnel, albeit as freight, as the passenger service was not yet running. But only days before we were due to go, we were informed that an exercise was to take place, resulting in the tunnel being closed at the very time we needed to travel. An amendment to our travel plans was required, and fortunately we were able to negotiate a crossing by ferry from Ramsgate to Ostend. At 2 a.m. on Monday the 12th of September, the dream became a reality, as on time the convoy moved off from police headquarters. The trip to Ramsgate was uneventful, and after a smooth crossing we arrived at Ostend at 9:15 a.m. local time. The convoy passed quickly through immigration and customs and set off for Holland, reaching the Dutch border at Arendonk at 11:45, about an hour and a quarter ahead of schedule. Some people took the opportunity to catch up on some lost sleep, and Paul Rickson entertained us by doing his Lenin's Tomb impression. The time for our meeting came and went, but contact with the Dutch police was not made. We waited an extra 20 minutes, but decided we'd have to press on. We arrived at Venlo, the German border, 15 minutes late, but here our German escort was waiting, and they swiftly escorted us to a petrol station to fill up. Fuel stops became an important part of our lives during the trip, and this was the first of many. Our escorts changed as we moved from one police district to another, and the changeovers became quite smooth. A couple of slight hiccups put us a little behind time, but then it began to absolutely pour with rain, reducing our speed and putting us well behind schedule. At 10:30 p.m, 2 hours behind time, we arrived at Berlin. We had got one of our escorts to phone ahead and warn them that we would be late, and our Berlin escort was waiting when we arrived. With neat German efficiency, we were escorted by police motorcyclists through the city centre. We were treated as VIPs, and our convoy was escorted through red lights, with our outriders using blues and wailers to get us through. Then surely a first. British police vehicles, blue lights flashing, drove through the Brandenburg Gate, so much a part of the history of Germany. After this, we were taken to the Pankow police headquarters for a welcome supper of beer, sausage and schnapps. And so to bed.